our second topic, and let's talk about The View. So, a lot of people were wondering this morning, of course, because after the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing last night happened yesterday, I know people immediately jumped over there on to watch The View to see if they had said anything. Me, I was working earlier, so I didn't get to see it. Quiet as it's kept, I only watched one episode of this new season. I just feel like the view is there. I could care less. And I think it's because I'm so progressive in my political beliefs and watching so many other political pundits. Like I've had a podcast watching Sabby Sabs, watching um who else? Oh, Kyle Kalinski's Secular Talk. I also watch his wife Crystal Ball when she's over there talking. I watch a lot of political pundits, like a lot of progressives. I watch independents and progressive Democrats. Of course, I'm not sitting there watching no right wing nutbag stuff because y'all gonna make my blood boil and you make my teeth itch. So, because y'all spew a lot of bullshit and rhetoric, and it's too many of y'all, and not enough of people who are actual logical, critical thinkers that are running around on social media. That's why we need this new generation, this younger generation, to pipe up and actually come on the front lines and start speaking. Because I told you I'm blue in the face, and people act like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But anyway, so when it comes down to The View, they kind of give sort of like this boomer, Disney-fied kids table version of politics for the most part. So they're not really going to talk about the things that are actually happening. They'll just mention some stupid soundbite that Trump said, and then they laugh and kiki about it, and they'll give like their little surface comments about it, but don't really dive deep into the whole political cesspool of mess. And I guess it's because it's a 1 hour, 40-minute show with more ads than damn show. And they gotta view your deal stuff, and they get 5 minutes to basically have six women talk politics, which is impossible, but whatever. So that's why they gotta surface kid table bullshit when it comes to talking about the politics. But if y'all like it, I love it. My parents pretty much like The View or whatever. Me, I'm way like I said, I'm way more progressive in my stuff. So because The View has been heavily into the politics and talking heavily about Donald Trump, people were wondering if they were going to mention anything about Jimmy Kimmel being fired. Well, cut me shut. Or as Whoopi would say, color me did. Well, yeah, they did the whole show and didn't talk about Jimmy Kimmel at all. So there was one post that I came across, and it said, I don't believe it's a coincidence that the View co hosts have discussed the Charlie Kirk situation as a tragedy it is without also discussing the truth about who he was in life. Well, of course, they weren't going to do that because they didn't want to get a lash about how dare you bring up the fact that he was a bigot and a white supremacist. But that's what came out of his mouth. That's what he went on these college campuses to debate people on. Which, sidebar, as people not computed the fact that how are you a college dropout and going on college campuses debating college students? Make that make sense? So ABC executives have the spine of not Hakeem Jeffries, child. So, as we like to call him over here, APAC Shakur. I have no doubt the ladies were all pulled into a meeting and told not to speak disparagingly about the second coming of Martin Luther King, and then they put a vomit emoji next to it because that's what they was calling him. They out here talking about he the second coming of Martin. Like, child, if y'all don't sit up here and stop trying to desecrate that actual good man's legacy by comparing him to Martin Luther King, like Martin Luther King was about peacefulness and nonviolence, not inciting violence, not spewing hate and vitriol because he was an actual pastor. So they said, so much for the First Amendment. We are in a constitutional crisis. So then came the article, courtesy of page 6, where they were talking about, yeah, they failed to address the elephant in the room. But a source went and told page 6 that they were not ordered to steer clear of the news. So they were saying, like, I guess it was an oversight. So Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, and Alyssa Farah Griffin said nothing about the biggest TV story of the week during their live Thursday broadcast. But while both are ABC shows, an insider said the ladies were not silenced. So they said, quote, they were not told not to discuss it. The insider suggested that the ladies may have been waiting for Kimmel to speak out, as they did when CBS pulled the plug on Stephen Colbert and the Late Show franchise in July. It's an ongoing story, and hot topics are discussed daily, they said. Friday's episode of The View was filmed on Thursday afternoon, but it's unclear if they tackle the topic of Kimmel. Meanwhile, ABC insiders are incensed that the network didn't protect Kimmel by editing his monologue in which he said of Charlie Kirk's alleged murder, Tyler Robinson, or murderer. He said the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it, which is absolutely true because the minute this whole situation went down, they politicized everything. Quiet as it's kept, this administration politicizes everything. And that's why I hate when people say, stop bringing politics into stuff. Stop talking about politics. I'm like, we would love to stop talking about politics if you stop trying to turn everything into something political. They even turn wiping your ass political. They make that political. Everything is a political spin. And it's like, we were never in a position where everything was engulfed in politics. These people live, eat, breathe, and sleep and shit politics, even though they know nothing about politics based on what they're doing. It's just they're strong arming people to make the world go into this Christian nationalist, authoritative direction. So, Next Star Media Group, which is the main owner of ABC affiliates, announced it wouldn't air him on their stations. Meanwhile, Sinclair Broadcasting said they're also pulling him from his stations unless he apologizes to Kirk's family and donates to his political activist group. And Jimmy, if you donate to him, I will lose all respect because first of all, you didn't say anything bad. These people want you to shell money out of your like what kind of grift? Like this is a fucking grift. Y'all want me not only to apologize but to donate money. The man is worth $12 million. He don't need money. Any more money. So one network source said to the New York Post, ABC is stupid. They should have edited Kimmel. They know President Donald Trump is after him. Their standards department should have flagged it. They should have known better. But why would they have to flag something when, as I said before, Jimmy Kimmel didn't say anything bad. He didn't say anything bad about Charlie Kirk. He was basically saying like how the Trump administration is basically trying to use him as sort of like, in my opinion, a smokescreen. They're hiding behind him to push more of their authoritative ideologies and whatever policies they have in place. Just like we had Netanyahu come out, and I remember we did a whole breakdown of this in a previous video. How people believe that this was the Israel hit, where Netanyahu may have had something to do with it because Charlie Kirk was starting to turn away from this whole Israel situation and what's happening, what Netanyahu's been about, and them and Netanyahu trying to infiltrate his compound with a little money and those other stuff. And Charlie Kirk was kind of being a little iffy about it. He didn't want to push into that. So when you have powerful people trying to come into your shit, especially when I read to y'all earlier, who gave Charlie Kirk all the money to start up his company, including his father, who donated to a lot of, you know, Christian or even red state type ideologies. This is what you get. So, do I believe that these ladies were silenced? Yes. I feel like y'all full of shit. Y'all talking about, oh, I mean, y'all broken news immediately before. Y'all could have added, I mean, this was a thing that happened literally in less than 24 hours prior to y'all show. So you didn't think that, okay, this is major news that y'all gonna brought this up today, but they're saying that they're gonna wait. So I'm gonna give y'all until Monday, because Friday is actually y'all said that's taped. So I'm gonna check Friday's show out and see if they bring it up. If you don't, I'm gonna give you the Monday. If y'all don't bring it up on Monday, then I know y'all full of shit and y'all worrying about losing your damn job. Because I do believe that the view is on the chopping block, and this is according to the Daily Mail. Now I don't usually like their asses over there because I feel like they're like British conservative, or I think they're kind of like the paid six of the UK. So FCC Chair Brenda Carr, who suspended Jimmy Kimmel live over the host's controversial remarks. He didn't say anything controversial, so I'm so sick of y'all saying it was controversial because it wasn't. Suggests it may be worthwhile for his agency to review ABC's The View. Oh, Brendan Carr, that's that asshole, the one that had something to do with um Who did I say? Jimmy Kimmel. Now, speaking to CNN on Thursday about the FCC's equal opportunity rule, Carr said, I would assume you can take the argument that The View is a bona fide news show, but I'm not so sure about that. Well, I wouldn't go there and necessarily say that The View is a news show because I don't feel like it is. I do know that they cover newsworthy topics and they'll bring someone like a Jonathan Carl to come on or somebody of that nature to speak about whatever news type of stuff that goes on. But for most of the part, they're entertainment panel talk show. So they're not a news channel. They none of these women up there act like they're news reporters. To be honest, I don't think I think the only person up there who might have a journalistic background is Sarah Haynes, because she comes from doing a bunch of other stuff. So Sarah Haynes might be. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like because she did Good Morning America and things of that nature, I think she might be the one up there who has a journalistic background. I'm not necessarily sure about Lisa Farrah Griffin. And Sunny, we all know, is a former prosecutor who's done a lot of CNN and things of that nature, but I don't necessarily know if she has a journalist degree. We know she got a law degree because she never lets us forget it. So then they also wanted to say, and I think it's worthwhile to have the FCC look into whether The View and some of these other programs that you have still qualify as bona fide news programs. And if they are news programs, then what does that mean? Like you want them pulled because they're saying something that you don't agree with? And that's not where our country should be going. That every news channel has to be News Nation or Fox News or whatever other damn channels y'all have. Not all of us are Borg. We're not a monolith. We don't all just one track mind, one belief. We're all individual beings. And you trying to turn America into some like fascist nation, people are not going to stand for it, including those in the red states that voted for you. So tread lightly, people, because y'all think y'all are short-sighted in all of this, not realizing the long-term effects that this is going to have down the line because y'all are looking at a glass half full. So on Wednesday, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr urged broadcasters to stop airing his show, hinting he would open an investigation into the vicious comments. Well, waste the money and open the investigation, because you're not going to find nothing. By Wednesday night, Disney-owned ABC announced Jimmy Kimmel Live was preempted indefinitely without elaborating further. And Kimmel hasn't commented. Um, and so yeah, he's someone that it may be worthwhile to investigate The View. So if this happens, then it's not going to stop there. They're going to continue to go down the line. Jimmy Fallon, even though Jimmy Fallon is so damn pussy, like he don't say nothing remotely offensive, not just only about politics, but any celebrity that comes on the stage on his stage. So he the most harmless one there, and he'll easily cut to whatever just so he can keep his job and a check coming in, because Jimmy Fallon is easily manipulated. He's got that Hakeem Jeffrey spine, so he's fine. Y'all don't have to fire him, even though Trump insulted him and called him a loser and all that other stuff. It's funny how you always call people no talent, losers, whatever. And I'm like, what is your talent except being a chaos demon? I didn't know you had to have a talent to do that. So The View, I don't know. Keep doing what y'all do. I don't know if ABC should be protecting their talent and should be pushing back against Trump. But at the end of the day, if y'all, if it does come down to them chopping the show, in the words of Whoopi Goldberg, The View, you in danger, girl. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do y'all believe that The View could be on the cusp of being on the chopping block, whatever the case is? And I mean, that's always been, I've been seeing a lot of stories that that's what they've been alluding to for the longest, making it seem like that they were going to get rid of The View. But nothing so far has transpired. But I hope they don't get rid of the show, not because I care enough about it, but we need to be having differences of opinion and different points of view on television. We shouldn't only just have one side and that one side spewing nothing but lies and misinformation. Because like the video I saw of when I was telling you about that video, that broadcast that I told you, that where Bernie Sanders went to West Virginia and spoke to the people out there who are suffering right now, where one of the women was like, she actually grew to like him because she was like, "Oh, you're not as scary as I thought." And I think that's the problem is like when you watch channels like Fox News on this stuff, they create these boogeymen because they want to keep you scared. They want to keep you thinking that people are a certain way. And then when you actually take the time to actually investigate, watch a couple of people videos, listen to what they have to say before you judge them, which I did with the Charlie Kirk stuff, and I still stand by what the fuck I said about him because he is a bigot. But when you look at somebody like a Bernie Sanders, and it's like, oh, you're not the big bad wolf that you were made out to be. Yeah, because the other side wants y'all to always be in constant fear. So always take the time, if you have it, to do your research, do your due diligence, check and make up your own mind so that way you're not having these other people out here who are paid to bullshit and lie to you, telling you what you should and should not believe. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.